Manchester derby victory. This is Paris. Our fans in France are doing a Poznan in an English pub in France, as you do. And in Norway, you can see them celebrating. And this is where we sent Nader Manure on the trophy tour. Look at that brilliant picture of Rodri in the background as well. Welcome back to Matchday Live. Manchester City have won the Manchester derby once again. That was 3-0 at full time. And of course, one of my guests in the studio did indeed predict 3-0. Congratulations, Steph Houghton.
Oh, I'm buzzing. I'm actually buzzing. Not even just for the prediction, but for that performance. I think, yeah, they were unbelievable from start to finish. And it could have been more as well, but yeah, dominant performance throughout. So yeah, Manchester's blue.
Manchester is blue, and Steph got the prediction right. We're still joined by Shaun and by Joleon Lescott. You don't mind not getting your prediction right, do you, Shaun?
No, not at all. As Steph said, it was a brilliant performance by the team. And if you look back, Onana's made so many saves. It's really total control second half, I felt. The amount of times we kept the ball, there was some malaise from the City fans, and I'm sure they thoroughly enjoyed, being at Old Trafford today. Really brilliant performance.
Yeah, at one point, Joleon, you did say about when would the Olays come, and they came.
So they came. Then they probably came too late, to be honest. That was as comfortable as I've seen Man City in a year. As ever. It was just dominant. They were so comfortable in possession. They worked so hard out of possession to get it back after 3 or 4 passes every time they lost it. And overall, that was as dominant as I've seen them, and a huge kind of indicator of how far the gap is between these two teams.
Particularly in the second half, I mean, both of the goals involved a huge amount of possession and so many passes. Yeah. They were so patient.
And that's the thing. Me and Steph were arguing about which is our favourite and which one's potentially more goal of the season. For me, it's the second one, because the pressure that United tried to put on us, and then the transition and the one touch, and it was just bang into midfield, set back and then through, and it was just fluid. And then Haaland to finish, similar chance that he had in the first half. But yeah, that second goal for me is definitely our goal of the season, and as good as I've seen them score in a long time.
You loved the second one. You loved the third one, Steph.
Yeah, I thought the third one, I think, obviously we were saying, I wonder how many passes it was until the ball's in the back of the net. And I think, for me, I think City make it look really easy, but a lot of what they do, there's so much rotation, there's so many players coming in out of pockets, keeping the ball, deciding when to play it 1 and 2 touch, and then to have that end product as well where Haaland's on a hat-trick and you're thinking he's going to probably shoot, but to be that unselfish and put across the goal for Foden kind of just shows everything about the team. I think as the game went on, they got stronger, and yeah, I mean, both goals were equally as good, but yeah, my favourite was the last one.
Did you have a favourite?
Yeah, I would say the last one. Yes, I mean, because there was a discussion around the goalkeeper having a touch or making a save, and then us obviously getting on the rebound of it, and Haaland passing to Foden. But I just thought it was really brilliant because United tried to press, tried to win it, played through that, an overlap by Bernardo, who was about 30 metres, and the timing of that slide pass from Grealish was absolutely brilliant.
I loved them all, of course. And so did our fans in Paris. Our Georgia is out there ahead of the Ballon d'Or ceremony tomorrow, and she's been in an English pub in Paris. And here's what some of the fans think.
Yeah. Okay, so a 3-0 win in the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. How does that feel?
Lovely. Pretty good.
One word, that's all it needs, And we completely dominated that second half in particular. Was there anyone who stood out for you? Any player that stood out?
Let's say Haaland.
For me, Grealish.
And Grealish as well.
Grealish, man of the match.
Yeah, you could argue that any of them on the pitch were...
Great effort, but all the team.
The whole team did well.
Yeah, a great team effort, I agree. And looking forward to next weekend, we play Bournemouth. Are you feeling confident after that performance?
Of course.
We are back.
We are.
Arsenal, Tottenham, we are coming.
Well, all that's left to say then is...
Come on, City!
Love that in Paris. We never left. We're not back. We never left. We just set ridiculously high standards. They're having a great time out there in Paris. So in terms of how are you feeling, Shaun? Are you shocked at all about how easy that was? Were you expecting it to be that comfortable?
I expected it to be comfortable, but probably not that comfortable. Like I said, first half in terms of for me, a bit too much transition, and I think second half was a huge improvement, and that's why we started to get the Olays. We obviously got the second goal that really calmed us, well, not calmed us down, but took control, and then the third goal really just put it to bed, really, in the Olays and everything. But how we kept possession and moving the ball from one side to the other, it almost felt like there's another goal if we won it. Alistair was mentioning perhaps there's a fourth goal if City wanted it, and I think City was just keeping the ball and toying a bit with United.
Yeah, it did feel like that a bit. I mean, we were saying like the amount of passes, I mean, I'll have to get the possession stat up, Steph, but the amount of passes in that second half, just how comfortable they looked. United were almost, it looked like they couldn't keep up with us. The gap seems to be perhaps even bigger than we thought.
Yeah, I think with that performance, I think that probably does clarify that situation. I think we're all probably sitting here thinking City have got a much better squad in terms of quality. But I think when you get to play these games and actually show it, and even like to the point of the style of play, like there's a definite style of play with our team, and United try to press, they try to hold, they try to block up, and they had no answer for what Manchester City did today. And yeah, I think for me, I think that just showed our quality, and that's why we are the champions of the Premier League and every other trophy at this moment in time, just because of that performance as well. And the scary thing is they're probably only going to get even better by the time we get into more rhythm of games.
61% possession. I thought it was going to be more than that, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But again, you can't argue because it was controlled. It was comfortable. There wasn't ever a time when maybe the end of the first half when they're a bit of transitional kind of game. But overall, like that's as comfortable as I've seen. And it surprised me how big the gap was. I expected us to dominate possession, but maybe a bit higher up, and it's just like for the sake of it, where that was just like we can do whatever we want, whenever we want to do it, and we slowed it down, we sped it up, and it was kind of just like, well, whatever you want to do in terms of a high press or a low block, we'll just manufacture that. We'll manufacture what we want to do, and it was just so evident that there's a clear identity and a style that we want to have, and Man United don't have that.
Who was your standout players?
John Stones, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Haaland, Kyle Walker. There was
Are
no
you
one.
naming them all?
There was no one that wasn't comfortable. There wasn't no one that didn't contribute. Edison. I think Edison goes underrated because with goalkeepers you want them to make saves to get recognition, but the way he can nullify a press by you close him down and then he just threads the ball through, and all of a sudden you see the gap between their midfielders and their defence, and now it's like, well, we can't press midfielders. Well, defenders don't want to be pressing in the opposition half because there's so much spacing behind. So once Man United go a bit higher up and then Edison finds the spare midfielder, and it's having so much kind of confidence in your teammate to know that this ball's going to come to me. I don't have to drop deeper to get it to receive. Within 2 passes, they'll find me, and yeah, it was crazy that.
Are you the same, Steph? You can't signal one. That's not the right word, is it? Single one person out.
It's been a good afternoon. Yeah, I think generally a really great team performance. I think at different parts of the game, one player stood out. I think we spoke about Stones, that performance in. I think we're going to try and class him maybe as a midfielder at this moment in time. But yeah, I think Bernardo, the amount of energy he has to be able to press but also keep the ball, he's kind of chopping and he's changing direction just to make sure that he can get free from his player. But yeah, I can't really single one person out, but the whole team was magnificent from front to back.
It is like with Rico Lewis as well now. When he plays, I don't like. Is he ever going to go back to defence? You know, is he more of a midfielder from somebody obviously that plays in defence? Explain to us from your point of view how difficult that is to be able to transition from defence into midfield, back into defence.
I think it's totally different because as a defender you see everything in front of you. Once you step into that midfield position, I think you've got to have that vision behind you, and sometimes when you've beaten like what we have or John Stones, that's all you've known is everything's in front of you so you can see apart from the goalkeeper. So for him to do that, and it must take a lot of work. I think we speak about how we play as a team but also as a club. I think it takes a lot of work on the training ground, a lot of time for players to get that used to it and used to each other in their positions. But he's made it look easy, which is absolutely crazy, but he's got that ability to be in that midfield because of his passing range, but also he's so clever off the ball to be able to move into spaces.
Could you do it, do you think?
No. That style of play is only unique to John Stones. There's not another defender, centre-back, that can play like that in the world, because people can play forward, like Steph said, and when you see the game in front, there's players and defenders that are comfortable. But the worst thing for a defender is to hear man on. And when you hear man on, then you know, oh, I'm not comfortable. I know I'm surrounded. You feel surrounded, so it goes literally back to where it ever came from, where John Stones is able to receive it on half turn, play forward, drive forward. That is unique to him, because we don't ask any other our defenders to do that. We ask Rico Lewis, but he's come up through the system of playing that, and he's coming from a wide area where we're not asking any of our centre halves to do that, because he's the one with the attributes to allow him.
Does that say a lot about Pep as well? Because I think for him to be able to trust John to go into that area, but also his coaching. I mean, he is the best manager in the world, but be able to do that and to have no team be able to stop that way of playing, it's scarily good.
It's just a detail that he knows and understands with his players, because we all know, like Kyle Walker, for instance, is a phenomenal defender, phenomenal right back, but we never see Kyle Walker go inside and play inside alongside Rodri, and that's just a detail that he knows, and he understands the type of player that he wants to go in there and play that role, and that's similar to Stones. He's asking Stones to do that, and there's not many centre backs that can go in and have that picture, like facing forward, but knowing there's pressure coming from behind, where that pressure's coming from, when it comes. I have a touch in this space, in this area, that's still for me, that the defender can't get. Having all that awareness and still being able to keep the ball, keep possession, and keep the ball moving is absolutely brilliant. And for me, Stones, if I had to call a player, I would say Stones, because we've always said it and agreed, he's been absolutely brilliant. To be able to do that as a centre back, like a midfielder, is brilliant.
So happy that he's back fit. So happy. What a day we've had. But I could think of two guys who perhaps have enjoyed it a little bit more. We're going to go back to Old Trafford now, to FG and to Big Steve.
Manchester is blue once again. Wow, what a game. You can see the fans coming out behind us, the Blues. They were so loud. What a result for us, Big Steve.
Unbelievable. Great away end today, and what a performance by the boys in blue. We've totally dominated today. Manchester is well and truly blue tonight.
And the goal scorers, the boys who grew up as boyhood Manchester City fans. Erling Haaland, never in doubt, as expected, and Phil Foden. Wow, majestic.
Fantastic. That's what you want. Two City fans, seal the derby, come to Old Trafford, dominate the game. Unbelievable performance tonight.
Listen, good vibes, and all the Blues behind us and everybody watching will no doubt enjoy themselves tonight for the rest of the week. They've got the bragging rights. If you didn't already know, they weren't great, were they, mate?
No, we dominated the game. We took it to them. Death by 1,000 passes. Manchester is blue tonight. Manchester City free.
Let's talk about Jack Grealish as well real quick.
Brilliant.
Incredible.
Wednesday night was outstanding. Today, outstanding. Everyone. They don't want to play on that pitch today that didn't put a shift in, and I'm proud of every single one of them.
Listen, we move on, we keep going. This is a massive, massive result for us here, by the way, and I know everyone in the studio and around the world is enjoying it, and rightly so. 3-0 to the treble winners, the champions of England, the champions of Europe, the FA Cup winners. What a time to be a Blue, Big Steve.
This is it. Tonight, we'll sleep happy. Manchester is blue.
Manchester is blue. We're heading back to a very blue studio. Come on.
Manchester is well and truly blue. I knew those two would be having an incredible time. And all of the fans that were lucky enough to be at Old Trafford today will have had an incredible time. Impeccable behaviour from our fans today as well. They've done us proud. I just love how happy they were. Now, I've got some wonderful Pep stat for you that you're going to love. So, since Pep joined City in 2016, City have earned 145 more points than Manchester United, 649 to 504. We've scored 229 more goals than Manchester United and won 60 more Premier League games than them. Go on, Pep, that's a decent stat.
Yeah, but again, them things wouldn't surprise me with Pep, and I think he's like win percentage over his career is like 75%, and the closest is like 65. That is like... Them things are what he's done forever. So you've got to be less surprised in the greatest respect. It's like Haaland, when people say he's in good form, it's like, no, he's only ever scored goals. He's never not scored goals. So it's not form, it's just what he does. Crazy.
And Pep just wins games.
There you
gets
go.
more
And
points,
trophies.
and
Improves
How many
players.
trophies on that one?
oh, we need that. Yes, we need to
I'm
add
surprised.
to
Oh,
that's the
that.
best.
I
the
thought
most
that would have
important
been.
one.
I thought that would have been the first one.
Yeah,
to be
who cares
honest.
about the wins? I'd rather say how many trophies since Pep's won to how many that they won.
Sorry, everyone. We'll try. We'll try and get it.
Blame Darryl.
Darryl, come on, don't get staff. How many's the different trophies between City and United in the time that Pep's been here? I'm going to guess.
Yes, have a guess.
Are we going to put a clock, a counter at the Etihad?
I'm gonna say
last time they won
16.
something.
I had 14 in my head, maybe.
I said 14 as
Because
well.
they've won a couple, haven't they? Because they got the Europa League, the League Cup.
Yeah.
Enough about them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
14.
14. We'll find out and we shall let you know. Manchester is most definitely blue this evening, though, Shaun. I mean, we've said about how comfortable it was. There's no doubt tonight. There's no questions. All right, there might be slight questions over the penalty. You know, but the performance was so dominant overall.
It was a superior performance by City, and everyone, you know, we're talking about man of the matches. You could almost select any player because everyone. I just loved how when we played and the players were moving out of positions. If the space was there, somebody else was filling it, and John Stone just sometimes seeing him making runs in the box to the byline, and you're going, "That's our centre back. What is he doing there?" Making an inside run or overlapping run, and you're thinking, how is this? And that's because he knows at that particular time he's needed to make that run to create the space or create the support. Absolutely phenomenal. Some brilliant goals tonight.
You're happy?
I am.
You're happy?
It's beautiful. The game's beautiful.
I wanted to have a quick word on Doku as well. Of course, he came on with about 10 minutes to go and he had a serious amount of energy. I mean, Anthony looks like a very angry man, but he properly wound him up as well. He was so lively.
Yeah, you've got, God, Pep's got so many decisions to bring people off the bench, and you bring someone who's as quality as Doku, and especially when the game's so open and there's been so many changes within the game. I thought when he came on, he looked really lively and enough to make a few Man United players a bit upset, which was probably a little bit unnecessary, but yeah, I think that's what happens when you're in a derby and you're winning 3-0. Someone's going to get wound up, and it just happened to be Anthony.
I kind of did enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. Being able to have that creative ability to come off the bench as well with so much energy. Considering we've gone through a period of time with quite a few injuries, it's good to see now that the squad is looking bigger.
Yeah, of course, you always want to have options, but I think the most impressive thing for that was that we didn't necessarily need anyone to come on. Like, we was speaking in the game, it was like 83 minutes and not a change had been made. And I remember a couple of years ago, the game that Shaun had referenced earlier, that they didn't make any changes, and that is unheard of. To not to need to make any changes or to kind of want to is a showcase of what Pep's doing and how dominant. And I don't know if it's kind of an obvious kind of factor that he's making, or obvious point that he's making. I don't need to make wholesale.
I think he does do that because
Yeah.
in the bigger games, I think of Arsenal at home at the Etihad, and we outplayed them, and I'm thinking he's going to make subs, and I don't even think he made one sub that night, and I'm just like, probably that's the time when you can maybe involve your squad and stuff, but he just doesn't, and it's just, that's why it makes the performance so special.
We're going into, well, we've got a break. We've got a week break, Shaun, which is lovely, which often doesn't.
Players can enjoy the celebrating over there, and hopefully Haaland wins the Ballon d'Or and they will get the trophy for the team of the year. So hopefully they get allowed to celebrate for once.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Okay, we'll get onto the Ballon d'Or in 1 second, but I've got your stat for you.
Go on then.
So you said 16, I said 14.
15?
Pepper's won 15 trophies in his time. Manchester United have won two in that time.
The League Cup last year.
They've won 3 in that time.
Yeah.
The three. EFL, Europa, EFL twice, was it Europa? 3. So anyway.
They're classing the Charity Shield, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, we're saying that. Are we classing that though? But are we classing that as one of Pep's? You gotta be fair.
A lot more is the answer.
A lot
more. So, congratulations, Manchester City have won the Manchester derby. We look ahead now to tomorrow, because tomorrow is the Ballon d'Or ceremony. It's taking place in Paris, and of course Manchester City have a whole host of nominees in the men's and the women's categories. We will be here with you. We are doing a live show from 7:45 tomorrow, 7:30 tomorrow night. Myself, Shaun, Steph will be back, and we're going to be joined hopefully by Neda Manua, although he's currently in Norway, so fingers crossed he gets back. We'll also be joined by fans from around the world on our React to wall. So the Ballon d'Or ceremony tomorrow. Join us from 7:30 UK time to watch that. I'm very excited, Shaun. I feel like we're going to get some high placements. We're going to maybe win some things.
Yeah, this is a really good space that we're in, that we've got, players being nominated for Ballon d'Or and where we are as a club and how we're progressing. And I think it's just beautiful, because I think back so many years and I'm thinking, Ballon d'Or, a City player. If you asked me that some years ago, I'd have had no chance. We've got world-class players. We've got players that are coming in, setting standards, like Haaland, what he's going and done, if the goals, phenomenal. No one really thought that he'd go and smash up the Premier League with the amount of goals he's done. And, he rightly deserved to be in there and be amongst the best.
Men and women nominees as well. 3 of our women's team are in the top 30 of the Ballon d'Or as well. I bet you're so proud of them, Steph.
Yeah, of course. I think anybody that went and represented their country in the World Cup, I think when you're on a world stage and you're playing so well for the club, I think it's only rightly so that you get kind of appreciated and looked at as one of the best players in the world. So hopefully a few of our girls can get really good nominations in terms of placements. But yeah, I think what Shaun said, I think it's not just the women's team, it's the men's team, it's the whole club. What we do here is really special, and hopefully that gets recognised tomorrow night.
Yeah, because of course last year we won Club of the Year, so fingers crossed, with the treble, with the Champions League, fingers crossed that we should be high up in that again. You were mentioning there though about the celebrations you think they might have.
Yes, well deserved. I'm sure that a few of the lads are in the Team of the Year as well, for obviously performances in Europe and domestically, but yeah, there's not always an opportunity to celebrate in season, because there's always games, and there's not this week. There's a free week for once, and hopefully they get an opportunity to go to the celebrations, and the timing could fall perfectly because you tend to second-day recovery as well nowadays, so it was an opportunity to enjoy themselves a little bit more tomorrow, hopefully.
So the big sort of question is, obviously nobody knows as of yet. There is rumours abound, of course, but the big question is, Erling Haaland, do you think he's got a chance, or do you imagine it's going to go to Messi? No,
he's definitely got a chance. And I don't think there's a glaring wrong decision between the two, because you're weighing up individual brilliance for different reasons. And we were speaking earlier, it was like, well, Haaland was part of a treble-winning team, scored a high number of goals, and then you're saying, would you swap that treble for a domestic double in France and a World Cup? Like, there's no wrong decision, is there? But listen, to be nominated and genuinely be contending, that's a huge honour. And I'm sure if he doesn't win it this year, there's be years when he wins it.
It's funny when you say it like that, because then you have to recall, of course, that Joleon Alvarez won them all. Yeah. So there's no splitting it in terms of...
Oh, yeah, of course. Again, but we just don't know the criteria. And I think if we knew the criteria, I think it would be clearer enough to recognise who should win it and who deserves more than someone else. But listen, you're talking about Messi, an all-time great, and Haaland, who's came to a league and done something no one's ever done. So, yeah, I just don't think there's a totally wrong decision. I think it's going to hurt us, a City point of view, that Haaland doesn't win it. But, yeah, Messi, you couldn't argue with Messi.
No, you couldn't. But it'll be interesting. Is it the change of guard? Because we know, Haaland's that sort of player that we're going to be seeing scoring goals from now until he's obviously probably in his mid-30s. And the form that he started out at, certainly at City, is phenomenal. But I just think it's a great space to be in that we're talking about Haaland, who's come to City, Messi, who's been a great for years, and it's weighing up. And as Joleon said, I don't think you can really have a wrong decision either way.
I feel like we're going to have to swat up, Steph, on our Ballon d'Or criteria knowledge.
Yeah, I think
before
so.
The show.
I think because even speaking then, I'm like, who do you think that would win? And I think for me, the great thing is Haaland's only 21, 22, and to be able to be in that category where you're being spoken about with Messi, when it's been Ronaldo and Messi for so many years, is credit to him and his teammates, because I think he did have an unbelievable season. And I think with Messi, maybe he might pip it a little bit just because of the World Cup win and finally winning it with Argentina. But it's going to be an exciting night. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, let's maybe do some revision tonight, Natalie, I think.
Yeah. I think we better, yes. Thank you so
Are we
much.
putting on Dickie Burrs or anything?
Yes, I mean, I
What's
think
the dress code?
Let's go a bit smarter than we usually do, shall we? In respect of it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll wear my hoodie again.
Yes.
No hoodie.
Yes. Should we do no? Should we? Yeah.
I'm a smart Steph, basically.
Steph's always
So is
smart.
smart.
Yes.
That's
Steph's
so is
always
smart.
smart.
I don't get any of this free gear. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
Little bit smarter, me and you, Shaun.
Yeah.
There we go. So you can join us tomorrow for our live Ballon d'Or show from 7:30 p.m. UK time. Shaun, Steph, Naden, fingers crossed if he gets back from Norway in time, and myself, we will be here as we find out where our men's and women's players will be placing and if we have any winners in any of the competitions. Cannot wait. What a day we have had. Manchester is well and truly blue again. Shaun Goater, Steph Houghton, Joleon Lescott, thank you so much for being here today. What an incredible day, Blues. It was dominant from the first kick to the very, very last. Enjoy it, soak it up, walk into work tomorrow with your heads held high and your chests puffed out, because they can say nothing to us. We're going to finish today by having a look at the celebrations from around the world. Here's Paris and Oslo again for you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Allez